know what I was thinking? You have the same name as Will Smith, technically.
Yeah.
I was thinking, like, I need to come up. I know you have the nickname, but I was thinking you have the same name as Will Smith. And Will Smith is like one of my heroes.
Yeah.
All the drama we've
Before
seen.
or after the slap?
Still.
In spite of.
I would argue that the slap was definitely not okay.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't staged and he truly gave the speech that he gave afterwards, all things considered, is just a tremendous amount. Oh, I thought I was going to roll with this, dude. I just keep rolling. All right. It's a tremendous amount of passion and I don't know. Like, it'd be really hard. Obviously, he's like one of the world's best actors of all time. So being able to go into that mindset and like apologize and try to get through it and try to say everything the best that he could, like all things considered, is pretty wild.
True.
I thought the coolest part of that was what Denzel told him. Denzel told him like a quote, and it was just like, the devil doesn't come for you when you're down. The devil comes for you when you're on top of the world, to be careful, or some version of that.
Yeah,
like Denzel's got this, like, can you imagine Denzel Washington telling you like this, like crazy deep thought
Yeah,
quote?
he's good at that.
Yes. Sure. Okay. Bill, welcome. The
Thank
realtor guy, Bill, is the actual nickname, not Will Smith.
Right.
The realtor. So we can't call you Fresh Prince. The realtor guy, Bill, is who's on our episode today of Building the Brokerage. So Bill is one of our newest agents here at Redefine. I could use the word ecstatic, excited, optimistic for the future with Bill. So we're going to use this as an opportunity to introduce Bill, talk through it, do the Building the Brokerage episode, have some good content, have a conversation.
Fun.
And it should be fun today. So that's the idea. Just tell us a quick snippet of your background, who you are, who is the realtor guy, Bill.
All right, cool. Well, I echo the same sentiment. All those adjectives, is what brought me here. So I'm excited as well. But so my background is long. So I had a nearly 20-year career in the mortgage side. So various from, loan officer, branch manager, national account executive. But after the interest rates started going up, things changed on that side of the world, if you will. I had wanted to get into real estate for many years, being a lender, working a lot of purchase contracts and transactions, got to know a lot of realtors and so forth. And finally, at that point, decided, hey, I'm going to go ahead and take the leap. And I figured, what better time than when the market's at, a challenging time, and allow me to build my business and, strengthen some of my, areas of importance and so forth. And so I went full force and said, let's do it. And so here we are today. I bounced around a couple of times, trying to find the right fit, trying to do things myself. And then obviously you and I connected a couple years ago through social media, the power of social media. Yeah. And so that's what, brought me to you. And that's, how it's in a nutshell where it's at. So.
Love that. Okay. So we'll talk about a little bit of the current state, the mortgage space. So you did that for a long time. I would hope that people that listen to this show, that tune into our stuff, are both not only in the real estate sales space, but hopefully clients and hopefully a lot of loan officers and people in the industry, right? And I think one of the coolest things of our industry, I imagine it as this kind of, although it's like huge, heavily regulated and across the country, it still is the wild, wild west. Does that make sense? So you have this huge industry of all this money moving around, crazy amounts of regulation from the mortgage perspective. But then if you look at the industry itself, I look at thousands and thousands and thousands of small businesses that keep it together. Okay. Yes. And so the mortgage background's awesome to me. What would you say are your biggest takeaways from mortgage? Like, what did you learn? What growth happened from working in mortgages? What were your top things that you would say you took away from the mortgage space?
One of the most important things in the mortgage space that translates very well into real estate is client communication and setting the right expectations. There's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes of the mortgage world. A lot of, blood, sweat, and tears, crying, joy, all of those things. But a lot of times the client doesn't see that. And I think that I've insulated, and we as an industry often insulate our clients from that, right? You know, how the, sausage made, so to speak, right? So one thing I learned is to be communicative with them, and to a point where maybe overly so, but at least they're current and know what's going on. It's their largest transaction, usually their largest asset at that point. So it's important they know what's going on. So I think that's one of the most important things I learned. You talk about compliance and guidelines and things like that. It's difficult to translate that sometimes to a client that something's very difficult, then you have to try and, simplify it enough for them to digest it and understand and then accept it. Because sometimes, when they hand you a paper or a document, they're like, why is this not acceptable? And so you have to help them understand why the underwriter needs ... So those are two of the things. And then relationships. So one thing that I always had this, mindset in business in general is kind of the servant leadership mentality. So when I'm working with clients, when I'm working with my referral partners or others in the industry, it's always the mindset, how can I help that person be better or make this easier for them? And so that's going to translate very well here into real estate.
I like one thing that you said, because I think it's critically important. And this is definitely critically important in our space. If you are in a service-based industry, like being a loan officer, like being a real estate agent, I mean, there's a lot of them, an attorney, CPA, like there's unlimited service-based industries, right? And there's some work that's done on the back end, but I believe your job in a service-based industry is to explain complex tasks and complex items in a very simple, digestible way.
100%.
I think that's one of the most critical things for a salesperson and being able to explain these complex things in a simple way is your ability, in my opinion, to be the best at your craft. And so you're a great communicator.
Thank you. Likewise.
And on top of that, I think that you're a fun communicator, right? So it's like, it's one thing to be able to explain it clear. It's another thing to be able to do and have some sizzle to it, some jazz to it and stuff like that. So tell me a little bit about, who you are, how your personality is infectious, in my opinion.
Thank you.
Like you said, we met through social media, and I was like, this guy's just very positive. He's constantly putting stuff out into the world that's all positive and good vibes. Where does that come from?
Good question. Sometimes I, wonder how I can, be positive on a daily basis. But a lot of it, honestly, and not to get, too personal or religious, but a lot of it is my relationship with the Lord. So that's where it goes back to. As you know, we lost a son, as well. And so getting through that was, my faith in God, family and friends supporting. So surrounding myself with people who, I like and trust. So my sphere that I associate with, are people that if something were to happen to me, I would have full confidence that they could raise my children. My children are older now, but just that type of person and circle. So with that being said, that's how I try and structure my life, is being positive, being encourage those around, and being transparent and honest. My wife jokes sometimes, she's like, you share too much on social media. I said, well, it's really what you see is what you get. So the type of person you see on social media and what I share, my openness, they're my opinions, my beliefs, and I respect everybody for their opinions and their beliefs. But on the same token, we meet in person or we meet for a coffee or a bite to eat, you're going to get the same realtor guy bill. That's just how I am. So what you see is what you get.
I would check that as true. And so having known you through social media for a long time and slowly getting to know you in person and stuff like that, it's been great. And that positive energy is infectious. And I think that people need to pull that from somewhere, and not everyone always has that. It's not always top of mind, and life gives you a lot of ups and downs. I was in the office this morning just talking to somebody in a kind of a tough situation. I had a little bit of an interesting situation hit me this morning, and I was like, this is what happens in your 30s. What happens in your 40s and 50s? I don't even know if I'm ready. But having that that base around you, like you said, that core circle, I think is critically important. I would agree with that. I think that one of the most important things, if not the most important thing in my life, is having that core people, right? And so there's a small group of people. I know thousands of people, and I'm not saying that from like whatever a bragging perspective. I have a lot of good relationships. I went to a very big high school. I stayed in my hometown. I worked in the B2B sales world. I know a lot of people. I've had a lot of friends in my life, a lot of acquaintances, a lot of different people in that journey. But that core group is so important. And so we're trying to build that here at Redefine, and that's why we want the right people on board to make sure that we can help pull us through that those tough times when they hit us and stuff like that.
Sure.
Okay. So the transition, you're in mortgages for a long time. What excites you about selling real estate? So it's a different channel, a lot of overlaps. You need to be a clear communicator in mortgages because it's over the phone.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
You get, I think, more opportunity as an agent to be a clear communicator because there's so much more you can do in person and stuff like that. But what are you excited about for this transition?
Well, I have to say,
you've had the transition, but what are the differences? I should say. Sorry to interrupt,
and continuing to grow the business. Is one thing I was a little bit not jealous, but maybe envious of my real estate partners, back when I was doing the mortgage side, because mortgages are not very tangible, right? And it's never a fun topic or thing, because it feels like you're going for, a doctor visit sometimes, right? But I was a little envious of their relationships that they built with their client. So mine was more little snippets of interaction and things like that. But with that being said, the realtor was able to develop and be part of their, new chapter of their life in a more tangible way. And so that was always exciting, because I'm a people person. I like to help people. I like to, see the joy and excitement and be a part of their journey. And I like real estate. I like architecture. I like design, all of those things. So it was just really a good transition for me, and I'm excited that I made the transition. And I love interacting with the clients more and being part of usually their biggest financial step or journey to that point.
Yeah, I think that's so important. I saw this clip that I wanted to do with Chris Favat. Shout out to Next Door Lending, Chris Favat.
Yes,
that's our in-house lender that we go to quite a bit. But it was basically like a cocktail party, and it was a skit. And there's a real estate agent and the mortgage person. They just closed the deal, and then they would say, "Hey, nice to see you. How are you?" And it had like, "You didn't do anything on this deal." And then the flip side, like the mortgage guy's like, "Nice to see you too." Oh, these real estate agents, they don't do anything. We're over here like actually running the numbers and doing everything on the back end. And it was kind of like this, like, I think you sort of like get this opinion like the grass is always greener. Right. That being said, I think that you are the type of personality that it's infectious and in person and has you have just constant good vibes in person and stuff like that, which again can be communicated over the phone, but I think there's so much more you can do with that. So I think that's a tremendous takeaway. And then just the overlap of it. I think a lot of people don't have both sides. Like I see a lot of agents that they're like, I'm not a numbers person. So I'm like, well, why are you in sales? Right. It's like, why do you?
It's all about numbers.
It's such a big portion of it. And so my team knows like I'm a little bit of a jerk. If you say like, I'm not a numbers person, like I will continue to call you out. And like this is going to be math school then, because like if we can't figure out 3% of numbers, if we can't figure out how this negotiates into the deal, if we can't figure out how that affects your bottom line, like you shouldn't be an agent. And so like I'm that blunt about it. So I think having that overlap is important. And a lot of stuff that I probably don't know about the mortgage space. And so it's a huge competitive advantage for you as well too. So
agreed.
So what areas you service a big area, you've worked in throughout Southeast Michigan in a lot of different ways, but what areas are you familiar with? What areas are you excited? Are you more excited about working with buyers, sellers, as you continue your career, right? You've had a good amount of experience with both, but as you continue your career, like what areas are you excited about?
Well, I like working with both buyers and sellers, obviously. Sellers are going to be more my focus going forward in building my business and building my brand and growing with Redefine, because that is an opportunity to help acquire even more business, right?
Sure. Yep.
So that allows me to help then more buyers and more sellers. So if I grow my seller clientele base, that's going to be, beneficial in all the other areas. Love working with buyers as well. Kind of specialize in first-time home buyers because I used to teach home buyer classes when I was in the lending world. So I have kind of a soft spot for that as well. And the patience, that's one thing that my clients, look at my Google reviews, a lot of them says patient, educational, informative, things like that, because I want to make sure they know what they're doing. At the end of the day, they're going to be their property. They're making the mortgage payment, so I want them to understand what they're doing. As far as areas, you grew up here in Plymouth, and this is your home. I grew up in the Ann Arbor area. Went to Pioneer High School, another big school. I think you went to PSOP, right? Yep. So raised my family in Saline. So I've been in the Washtenaw County area my whole life. Have a lot of relationships, like yourself. Know thousands of people. A lot of it kind of tertiary, but I want to get more focused in on building those relationships. That's one of my pillars in my business plan is to get deeper with my relationships. And so that's one area I'm going to focus on. Whether it's Washtenaw County, Wayne County, Livingston County, wherever it is, I'll go where the client's need is. But that's my area that I focus on and know. So I ride I used to ride my bike around a lot of the neighborhoods that, in the Ann Arbor area. So that's kind of cool. So yeah.
I think we have a lot of opportunities popping up in Ann Arbor right now too. So that'll be a good overlap. I think that, they say like list to last, which is like whatever, these cheesy sayings that, that being said, I think like knowing your avatar and knowing where your specialties are important. And people are like, well, I'll work with anyone. It's like, for me, like my focus is downsizers and first time sellers. Those are my two favorite clients. And I feel like I can serve them personally better than anyone else in town. Just the amount of preparation that we do to help get them prepared on both sides, because they're both unique situations, and then how we're able to execute from a marketing perspective. So those projects, I think I really earn that commission check at the end of the day.
Sure.
So when it's a first time seller, there's usually a lot to do. When there's a downsize, there's a lot to do. And so these are sometimes 3, 4, 8, over a year projects, 8-month projects, right? To be able to get these to the closing table. And those feel very rewarding.
Sure.
And it feels like that long-term relationship. Years ago, I did work with a lot of first-time buyers, and I totally get why people, again, being in the mortgage space, having that background, like it's a rewarding thing. For me, the complexity of like downsizers and first-time sellers is fun. There's just like you're structuring deals. There's a lot so that's where I really try to focus my attention. But I'm glad that we have, on our team now is very vast, and so we have the ability to serve everyone in a lot of different ways, and that's a good problem to have. So you mentioned growing up in Ann Arbor. Tell me about basketball. How does basketball? So I have a quick story. Okay, quick story for Bill. So we actually have a new teammate.
Oh boy.
Who played professional basketball. Like he played professional basketball. And I was like, hey Bill, Marco played professional basketball. You mentioned you played basketball. Maybe they'd be like a good person to go like learn from. He's like, you mean he's gonna learn from me? Like he didn't skip a beat. Like the confidence. I'm like, that's what it takes to be a good basketball player. You need that confidence. So how does basketball and or just sport influence your life?
Yeah, good point. Well, you're in your 30s, I'm in my 50s now. So basketball, is a little more challenging because that next day you kind of pop, squeak, and crack a little more than you used to. But I've played basketball pickup. We have organized group. We play Tuesdays and Thursdays. I don't get out as much on Tuesdays. 2 days a week is a little tough. But we play Thursday nights, and we run full court. And so it's a fun time. It's good exercise. Tricks my body into, hey, you're actually exercising, but it's fun. So, keeps me getting out there. So a lot of it translates the same thing. So one of the reasons I joined you and Redefine is because of your coaching, your mentoring. I have a lot of experience, but there's still a lot that I don't know, right? And so the similar in sports is if you don't play basketball for a while, your shot's not going to be as accurate or your passes are going to be a little off. Not that my passes are always on, so my guys that are out there, they know, but same thing in sales. If you are not practicing on a regular basis, your responses, your objections, your pitches, your presentations, your anything like that, you're going to stumble and you're going to have challenges. So I think it translates very well, sports to sales to real estate.
Yeah, it's very well said. When I did martial arts as a kid, we used to say repetition is the pathway to perfection. And so it's not perfection, right? I don't think anyone can be perfect at anything. Bruce Lee has that same quote. It says, don't worry about the man who practiced 10,000 kicks. Worry about the man who practiced one kick 10,000 times. And so like these little sayings and quotes and stuff like that, I think are a direct overlap. And that's why I love, not that sport is the only way to get there, but like, invest into sports and a team sport at that is another feature. Like I was a big golfer I was a big golfer growing up. I played a lot of golf, right? And so playing a lot of golf is individual sport. We did do some team stuff in high school and everything, but that team sport, I think there's a lot of overlap there as well too. How can you communicate? There's a lot. Again, you need to have that chip on your shoulder in basketball. Basketball is a tough sport. I played some. I'm not any good, but it's a tough sport, and it's mental. It's a team sport, and it's fun. I've been watching the new Netflix. It's like about the Cowboys, America's team, and it's about Jerry Jones and how he acquired the Cowboys and how the Cowboys came to fruition, how they grew. Mikey probably knows all about this, right? You've been watching that one? Okay, yeah. Mikey's a New England fan, but he's a football guy though. That's a football show, Mikey. It's about Jerry Jones, who seems like a crazy person in a good way, and also in like a scary way. But it's about his journey and what he did and the risk he took along the way. And I think there's a lot of overlap in business. And what I've liked about the section of the show that I'm on is just how they built the original culture when Jerry Jones took over. It was a little cutthroat, it was a little intense, but I would argue the Lions are doing something similar. Right. Like Dan Campbell just posted something the other day, or something. Quote came out about Dan Campbell the other day. Is like, we're only looking for elite at this point, right? Like we're not hiring anyone that's not elite. Like it's very hard to make this roster. Right. And I hope as Redefine grows, we can embed that into the culture, develop that winning culture, and make sure like, hey, if you join, like this is the expectation, here's the standard. Recently launched one of the most I think important things for the brokerage, and having those SOPs in there is really, really important. Excited, so I don't want to disclose too much, top secret, but if you want to learn more, Redefine Real Estate listing at my.com/careers, I think is is maybe the website. Okay, so basketball, local to Southeast Michigan, heavy mortgage background, just crushing it in the sales world, and we're gonna move more into that listing space. What are you excited about in real estate, like in the industry as a whole? Not just your business, but what are you excited about as the industry in a whole in real estate? Where we're going? We're in 2025 currently, but we're moving into the future quick. There's a lot of things happening. What are you excited about?
Well, there's a lot to be excited about. I think with some of the changes that took place last year, 2024 and 2025, I think that kind of, I don't mean this in a negative way, but kind of weeded out some of the real estate agents that were really just kind of hanging on, just to hang on, and realized that, hey, they had to step up their game a little bit. So I think that has brought more professionalism into the real estate world in general. So those of us that are still around and surviving, I think that's going to be a positive going forward. As far as with AI and things like that, there's so many fun ways to market a house. And that's another thing too. I love, joining here, and we talked about this already, is I was trying to do a lot of the things that you already have basically perfected on my own. So I finally realized, why am I trying to push this rock up this hill? Matt's been doing this. I've been following him. I love what he's doing. So, and then now you're working more with AI and going forward. That's one of our focuses here. So I think that's exciting, what can happen with marketing, with, reaching out and meeting new clients and attracting more clients to those houses. So I'm excited what's going to go forward. Obviously, interest rates will probably help move in the right direction, which will help stimulate the supply that we're short of right now. And so I think that'll be a benefit going forward in 26. And make it a more fun and exciting time to sell a house or buy a house and be in the real estate in general.
Yes. I would argue the exact same points. I don't think there's ever been an easier time or better time to be in business or an entrepreneur. And I think as real estate agents, we're all entrepreneurs and we're doing our own thing. That being said, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
Yes, amen.
And I think that's an important thing. So teaming up with people that want to do that and want to continue to push the envelope and grow and redefine the business is very, very important. So on that note, we so you mentioned a couple things in this chat we've had so far. What has surprised you in the short amount of time at Redefine Real Estate? Like as you joined the brokerage, what has surprised you? Like, I didn't think about that when I was applying, when we were kind of having our conversations. I was thinking about joining. What surprised you along the way?
So one of the funny things, and I see the power of it, is previously I've been used to, in all aspects of whether it's mortgage or real estate, if you have to convey something or you want to communicate or something like that, call or text. Well, one of the things I've learned very quickly, which kind of took me aback at first, I didn't understand, but now I understand it, is, hey, send an email.
Yeah.
And so that's something that's, different for me.
Yeah.
But I like that because it is also something that we can track. It holds one another accountable. And then it also minimizes any confusion because a lot of times when you're texting, you're doing it really fast, you're multitasking, so you can lose some of the, flavor of what you're trying to say. You put it in a thoughtful email, then that way there's less miscommunication if you can't meet in person. So that was something that was like, why is he so big on, emailing? It's Stephanie and no, it's like, hey, can you email me that? I'm like, I just texted you that. So anyway, but I understand that's kind of cool, but that was a change, but understandable.
So when you work in a team environment, you need very specific standards. Everything needs a process, or else it's chaos.
Right.
And so, not that we really care if you one-offs don't really matter, but like they add up. Then you look at across the board, all the ages. Like when you work so collaboratively, there needs to be very specific processes for each individual thing that you do.
Yes.
And I don't think all leaders look at it that way. I think about businesses needing to work very efficiently, and so there needs to be processes for small things. Like it's so crazy. But like every time something small happens, I'm like, we need a process for that stuff. He's like, really? I'm like, we're documenting, we're putting the operations. She's like, it's not that. It's like how to use the bathroom. No, it's not that hard. But,
open door.
Yeah. And and then also like I try to do that to protect my time, the team's time, all that type of stuff is a good one. Like, so one that we talk about a lot is if you're going to be late or not attend a meeting or late, you're supposed to be, especially in the morning, it's like just email. That's a big one. And one of the reasons it's slightly selfish, it's just like, I'm excited for the day. I'm ready to go. And sometimes we get like 2 or 3 cancellations in the morning. I'm like, damn it. Like I wanted them to be there. Like I'm so excited for this thing, you know,
Right,
like they're not going to
right.
be there. And so it's just like can be deflating too. So there's just like a lot of different moving pieces of why we do what we do. But the biggest thing is communication. So at Redefine Real Estate, the majority of your paperwork is done for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a lot of deal transactions. So there's a lot of stuff in a deal transaction, right? And so if you're writing a purchase agreement, there's 35 things to get right to properly do that.
Right.
When someone else is doing that for you, there needs to be a specific process to make sure that communication's clear and the client ends up with everything right on the purchase agreement.
Yes.
The listing contract is even more complex on a different ways because there's more moving pieces for a listing contract. What's included? What are the size of the bedrooms? There's so many different line items that go into an MLS contract.
Right.
To do it right. It needs to be detail oriented and all processed in one place. That way there's no finger pointing if things go wrong. That way there's clear communication. We can have checks and balances along the way. And I think that's what a lot of people don't realize. I think that's why the team support in the way that we do it does not exist in our marketplace. And that's a bold statement. So there might be some team leaders like, oh, we do that. And we do like, I would argue if you look under the hood, what we do for our agents as far as paperwork, back-end support, contract to close, people say transaction coordinator. I don't think so. We work collaboratively. This is truly a team working for you. And that's why it doesn't exist because it's so damn hard to build right. And it's so hard not to miss things along the way.
Right,
And so so I appreciate you learning the processes.
Yeah.
Hopefully that they're received properly. And there's a rhyme to the madness.
100% positive reception. And actually that's another thing. So that's one reason, as we talked about, I wanted to join a team, and specifically yours, because it is very unique. So I interviewed 5 or 6 other, brokerages before I came here. And so I learned a lot. And so there's a lot of good brokerages out there. But in my estimation, based on everything that I had seen up until meeting with you, not one brokerage seemed to have it all. And not to say that we're perfect yet,
yes,
but we're moving towards that way, that result. But you had everything in place that I was looking for. And so the way we do the process, for me personally, being an individual agent previously, it's important for me to have a process, because that way you do things over and over the same way, and that way you're not going to have any issues. And I love, our team and how, they look over everything and make sure, because there's extra set of eyes on there, because I'm not perfect. I only make mistakes on days that end in Y. So I'm going to make a mistake on files. And so it's great to have that team to watch out and to, be supportive and micromanage the file throughout, also for my client's best interest. So when I'm communicating with my client, a lot of that relationship is built on trust. So now I can let them know, not just myself, but I have a whole team that's got my back and got your back, Mr. and Mrs. Client. So that way they have more peace of mind throughout the process too.
On a daily basis, I say I would not sell real estate if it wasn't for my team, and I believe that. If you know me personally, I'm obsessed with this industry. I'm obsessed with real estate. I'm obsessed with business building and what we have at Redefine, and continue to take that to the next level and push the envelope. But I would not do it without a team. I really wouldn't. I would be completely burned out. I just couldn't handle it. I did 10, 20 transactions at a time. I did the high volume individual producer. I ran the social media ads and ran the stuff on the back, and I did my own paperwork and the contract to close and the lender conversations and it was 24/7, right? I mean, it was really, I love the business, but I would be so burned out right now. So if you're listening to this and you feel burned out, you feel that, you're selling a lot of real estate, you're doing well, but it doesn't feel fun anymore.
That's key.
I think that you need a team to support you, and teams have a bad rap in this business because I think most teams don't really work collaboratively. Just like most basketball teams don't play well. Like they say we're a team, like you're not really a team. Like you just join someone, you work under someone, they might throw a lead occasionally, but what are you really doing synergetically on a daily basis? And to me, that's what a team is. So if that's you, holler at us. We'll talk about what that looks like. Shameless plug, but I think it's true. And that's what we care about building. Is it perfect? No. Do we want to continue to make it better? Of course. Every single day we want to push the envelope. But if we do that, real estate sales can be a fun thing for top producers. Yes. You can go out of town and actually have someone cover your showings. You can sell stuff when you're out of town. You can go on vacation. You actually spend the money that you make. Can you imagine that? Spending the money that you make as a real estate agent and actually enjoying that time off, not having to be on the phone the entire time. We want to create that environment for our agents, and it's easier said than done, but I would argue that we're leap years ahead of most.
I agree.
And so we're going to continue to grow that. Okay.
What's your favorite Steve Jobs quote?
Ooh.
Or one of them about the team.
Yeah. So now you're putting
Sorry
me
to put you on
on
the spot.
Yeah.
I'm drawing a blank here.
No.
Mike, you know, it's on all of our stuff.
It's give me a second. Great things in business are not ever built by one person; they're built by a team of people. Steve Jobs.
There you go.
Some version of that. So you said that, and I have like 3 other ones that I think are more favorite Steve Jobs quotes. That's in a lot of our stuff because we talk about our team culture.
Yep.
So we have hashtag Dream Team in our presentations and what that means. And so I truly believe in that. And one thing that I believe in the team is not just here at Redefine. Like if you sell real estate at any type of level, and you don't think about you as the salesperson are working for yourself, you're working for your brokerage, you're working for your title person, you're working for your home warranty company that you're working for, you're working for your mortgage person, you're working for your home inspector, you're working for other contractors you work with, home preparation companies, moving companies. Like you are the center of, the quarterback of that sale to support countless families.
Yeah.
Okay. And so if that doesn't help motivate you, then real estate sales is not for you. You're doing it for the wrong reason. If it's just to put more money in your pocket for your family, respect. But I don't think that that's really why agents are good agents, in my opinion, at least the ones that I love and respect.
I'd have a bigger picture.
They understand that they're supporting an industry that I think is very sacred. I think homeownership is sacred. I think this industry, all these small independent businesses that are affected by what we do every single day. And that doesn't mean that the other guys, vendors are all horrible and all that type of stuff. But I know my vendors. I select my vendors. I'm very thoughtful. I have a personal relationship with them because I know that they're going to do the best for the client. Right. The client ends up with a better experience. The vendors end up with a better experience. That's what the industry needs. And as more and more tech companies buy each other and the big conglomerates get bigger, they get more billions of dollars in funding and all this stuff, I think it's David versus Goliath. Like that's Darth Vader in my opinion. And like I'm trying to be Luke Skywalker, right? There you go. I think that we are local. We know our marketplaces. You mentioned riding your bike through the streets growing up in the areas here. Like you deserve to serve those clients, not whoever, any of these big tech companies. I almost said like 3 names in a row and I really should have, but any of these big tech companies are putting on this file because you happen to call an online lead source, okay? You guys, if you're a client listening to this, you want local. You want local people that understand their marketplace, that care about their marketplace, that support small businesses because they're going to do right by you. They're going to put local vendors in front of you that know this area. They know the house that you're buying, they know the house that you're selling, and they're going to do right by you because you're part of their community. And that's what I love about this business.
Amen.
And so as long as I'm in this business, I'm going to be fighting these big tech conglomerates, and I don't care. Like you can hate me. It is what it is. None of them care about my small voice by any means, but from a local perspective here in Southeast Michigan, in any marketplace that we're going to be in the future, I want to preach that we're local. We care about you. We're involved with the community, and we want to continue to push back. And that's across the industry with ourselves and our vendors.
Couldn't agree more.
Done rant.
Yes,
okay. Anything else to leave the people with? So, Realtor Guy Bill, which is awesome branding, by the way.
Thank you.
It's like in my head, before we got to know each other, you were like a cartoon character, which is what branding is. So one of the things that I'm most excited about Bill personally is continue to lead into that and really help you grow that.
Thank you.
So this is one step. We do a little, a podcast, some interview here. I think it's going to be, but I think there's a lot we can do with your brand, and I'm really excited where we can take that. So I'm excited to, as you continue to make the evolution to Redefine and how we're moving in the right direction, to lean into that. We're gonna make you like famous.
Cool.
Not that you're not already famous, but we're gonna make you extra famous. So what do you want to leave the people with back home to end this conversation today? I'll just put you on the spot. I like putting people on the spot a little bit. Little zinger there, a little curveball.
And I love how none of this was scripted. There was no questions ahead of time, nothing.
No,
so this is cool.
They're in my head. I've done a lot of interviews through the years. They're in my head. I have some outline in my head. Sometimes I write them down, but it was pre-done.
Well, a couple things, real estate related, for those who are listening. I say this, with a little bias, but now being, involved in Redefine. If you hire us, Redefine, Bill Smith, Realtor Guy Bill, you are going to get the best experience, and you're going to have the most genuine and concerned team looking out for you. It's not all about the money. We want to make sure that you are taken care of. When you hire us, we go to bat for you. We advocate for you. And so that's very important to me because at the end of the day, my name is my reputation. And so if I don't serve my clients, if we don't serve our clients, our name, our brand, whatever, it doesn't mean anything. So one thing you're going to get with me and with us is we're going to follow through and deliver on what we promise. So that's one thing real estate-wise. Personally, appreciate every day, every moment. Every day is a gift. give an extra hug to those around you, and just really spend time listening to one another and communicating on a daily basis. And I think that will help in many, many areas of life.
Love that, man. Appreciate it. Much love to everyone.
Yes. Peace.
What do you think, Mikey?
Sounded good.
What was your favorite part? Don't play.
When he hit end.
So Mikey's a man of few words, so I like putting him on blast. See, we got, huh?
It's horrible.
What do you like? Come on, what's your favorite part about getting to know Bill? What surprised you?
Basketball.
You like the basketball thing?
My dad and grandpa were really big in playing basketball.
Cool.
Like, to the point no one would play with them because they'd start elbowing people.
Oh, wow. Ooh. Yeah, I don't play Bill and beer style. I just
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you play basketball, though, you got to have that chip on your shoulder sometimes, because sometimes you just like you're playing a team, and they're gonna be going after you. You know what I mean? They're gonna be putting you on your butt. And if you don't have that, like, hey, I can.
You got to be tough. Well, all growing up my whole life in Ann Arbor, if people didn't know me, you go up to the courts and you're like, hey, we got next. And there's 4 of us and we need 1. And then people are looking over, looking at me, looking at some of guys I'm with, and then we get out there and we win 4 in a row.
Exactly.
So it's like, people don't realize that. And it's literally, that taught me, because in the same token, someone I played that's older than me, you're like judging them, like, oh, they're older. Next thing you know, they've crossed you over and they're scoring. I'm like, okay, respect, So I think in life in general, respect those are with, I think, but basketball has been fun for me because I love, walking up, and so, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, like I love being the underdog, and like I love it. Like I love being the underdog.
I think that's what it is, kind of the underdog, superhero type thing, saving people. Like, hey, boom, I got this.
Yeah, like it's just being underrated is like one of my favorite things to. I just like, which is interesting about like winning cultures. Like I wonder like what the feeling was when you transition from like, like, okay, like Dan Campbell and the Lions, like keep going back to them, like they like suck so bad and now they're winning. Like, can they stay winning? Like, what's gonna happen? Mikey thinks no. Some people think they're gonna be trash.
I think it was all the coordinators doing all the work.
So I have this theory. I might eat my words here. We should have put this on vinyl. So is this a recording?
Yeah.
All right. I have this theory about the Lions. This is my quick take. I might eat my words here. So this is the first game of the season is in 2 weeks of 2025. Mikey says that it was the coordinators doing over the last couple years to get them to the winning seasons. Is that what you're saying? Okay, this is my theory. All teams are built with good culture and good leadership, and I think that Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell have those things. And so the coordinators are easy to come by. I think there's a lot of nerdy football guys that are easy to come by. You can find a nerdy football guy that can put good plays together if you have the right team, the right culture, which I think that they built. So we will find out, maybe not just in 2026, but 2026, 2027, 2028, we will find out if my theory is right or we just had the right coordinators. They're now both head coaches. Screw those coordinators. We are going to win.
Why would they want to succeed?
We will have a winning season. I'm putting this on vinyl because of culture and team that is built, which is a different thing. It takes work ethic, it takes coaching, it takes good general managers, and yes, the other coaches matter, but I think you can find another nerdy football coach and nerdy coordinator and offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator. I don't know a lot about sports, so this is one man's opinion, but I am a Detroit Lions fan if you can't tell. What do you think? He's gonna post.
He said sure.
The end of the season, he's just like posts this everywhere. It's just like this guy's an idiot. Huh?
I think Dan Campbell can outcoach like some of the better coaches. I think he's a good coach. He's a good culture guy. But when it comes to like
where do they end this season at?
This season,
like playoffs?
so playoffs, yeah, probably wild card.
Wild card playoffs.
Yeah, 10 wins.
I actually would prefer if they were a wild card playoff. If they're wild card playoffs, they're winning the Super Bowl. Like they do better as underdogs. Like they suck when they're on. It's just like that. You need that chip on your shoulder, or you need enough proof. So you either got to get over the hump where you know I'm that guy,
right? Believability.
Which like, you need to know yourself that you can do it. And I don't think the Lions have that yet, which is why they've choked at the wrong times. But once they get there, then it's a different type of culture to build. But I think that they play better as the underdog. Like one of the reasons why you probably won a lot of those games because these guys are looking at you like these guys are judging me. That gives you an extra like.
Sure.
I like that.
You already knocked down 3 threes by the time they wake up and realize, hey, we got to guard him.
Like wow, this guy can shoot. Like I didn't know. Like I was like underrated. Like
Right.
I think it gives you a chip on your shoulder. So you say wild card,
I think
first round they're out.
might win the division.
Okay.
Probably.
The division like is
But
way shittier than it
I think
was.
the Bears will be on their butt. The Vikings, I think, will be the worst.
Even with
Bears will
JJ?
be second, yeah.
Really, the Vikings are gonna suck.
Not suck, but I think there's going to be a big learning curve for McCarthy. He can't just hand it off every play.
Yeah, he's like young.
But he's got a good arm. He's accurate.
Michigan guy.
Yeah, that's right. Well, he is too. You said you liked what's your team?
Patriots?
Yeah, Tom Brady.
Brady.
Yeah, he led that team for 20 years.
Michigan is speaking of which, Michigan is the kid from Belleville starting.
Yeah,
What's his name?
Yeah, Bryce Underwood.
Is he starting?
Yeah, he's actually starting.
He's
Official.
starting.
Yeah,
True freshman.
Yeah.
I heard he signed some crazy NIL contract, and then he signed something else recently, some other endorsement.
Yeah,
I mean, he's making a ton of money. He's a millionaire.
mil. Yeah, 10 mil probably this just the first year. He had 5 year in NIL money, and then 5 million in NIL money, and then multiple other things. So he's probably well over 10 million.
You
just
think
his
too
first
much
year.
pressure on the kid, or you think he'll?
I don't think so. He rises to the occasion,
Yeah.
so he likes that environment and he has that chip on his shoulder as well. He's like, hey, I'm going to prove it. He said in one of his interviews, I was just scrolling. He said, hey, I know a lot of people don't believe I can do it. I'm going to prove them wrong. So.
I have this theory that some people work better under stressful situations and some people crumble under stressful situations.
Everybody's different.
And then I have this, like, this is where most people think that you're one or the other. And then my theory that I think can be proven over and over again is you can learn the trait to become the second one. You can be the first one. You can be the person that crumbles under stressful situations and always falls apart. And you can figure out a way to also become the person that doesn't.
Yeah.
You can make that transition. I think it's been proven in sport. It's been proven in life. It's been proven in politics. It's been proven so many different places, right? And I think our country is almost like built off of that, right? Like we like it when you fail and then get better.
Right.
So going back to the Will Smith thing at the beginning, like it's almost like we'll see. Like who knows? Like what he does with it. Like he's got a lot of bad juju still on him. I would say like is at least like the way society. But I think you can like fail and then still like learn how to overcome it. But I think that's a fun thing to learn. Like I was playing Pig with my wife the other day, and she was like beating me, and I try to like even when like these things I'm horrible at, like use the pressure, like get
You're
good at
talking
living
trash
in it.
and stuff.
Yeah, she beat me. I'm not gonna lie, the first game, but I won the second 2 games.
Good job.
And I try to like take a little bit, use a lot of left hand shots and different things just to like
give her a chance.
Yeah. She almost beat me in Pig when she was literally 8 months pregnant.
Wow.
Is that pretty bad?
Yeah, that's impressive.
Like, to be fair, again, I was doing all these crazy weird shots, and she just was like making sure ones that I missed. So I crumbled. But I can become the person that does not crumble under pressure.
Everybody likes to come back. And I think a lot of that relates to just people in general, human nature, right? Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody does something stupid. Everybody miscalculates. But they like to see other people bounce back because they're like, hey, there's hope for me. I can recover from that poor decision or whatever it was, you know?
And I think people need that, man.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like people need to understand what the hero's journey is and understand it doesn't matter how small or how big it is in their life. Like they are the hero's journey of their own story, whether they like it or not.
That should be on the wall somewhere.
When it's all
something about the hero's journey.
When it's all said and done, like you're gonna die, like one way, shape or form.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, what does that book look like in the limited time that we have? And to me, that's the hero's journey. It could be something so small. I don't care what it is, but if it's important to you, then be the hero for your own journey.
One thing you should read or people should read is a poem called The Dash.
Okay. Oh, I have read The Dash. I printed it and gave it to my entire team a couple years ago. Should I redo this?
Yeah, I would 100%, and so I don't want to tell much more about it, but, read The Dash.
Dash.
Check it out. That'll really
Mikey, share this. Let's just do this. This is going to be we're going to like cut right to this because like I feel like a lot of the best conversations happen after we're like done. But The Dash is killer.
Yeah.
The
Really
Dash
eye-opener.
is killer. Yes, read The Dash. Let's put it in the comments. We'll put a link. I'm going to put a link to our website. So get the website clicks, clickbait to The Dash.
There you go.
Okay.
It's cool.
Worth reading. I mean, you
Yes.
can Google it too, I'm sure. But if you're listening to this on podcast, everything Redefine Real Estate. Click that link in the podcast. The Dash should give us $1 a piece. No,
They should.
I think that's like the people that I love and respect the most, that I look up to the most, really appreciate that Dash.
They live the Dash.
And I think that some days I do and some days I don't. At least parts of the day I could get better at it. You know what I mean? And I think the journey is always focusing on getting back to it. But my closest friends, you talk about that circle that you mentioned, like my closest friends, like they just are true living versions of that.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I'm so attracted to those types of people.
Sure. Well, I can give you credit. You're like that too. So,
hope so.
That's another thing. So I think there's, that attracts, mindset. So.
Like my best friend Amir, he's an interventional radiologist, like hardest worker I've probably met in my life. Worked so hard since like I met him in 6th grade. But like top of his class, medical school, worked so hard, get into medical school, residency, fellowship, all that stuff. And he's like, now he's saving lives every single day. And he's still like, he just never let up on the relentless pursuit of doing something important with his life. And again, that's like an extreme. You don't need to be an interventional radiologist and save lives every single day to like live your Dash. It could be something so small. It could just be like, I'm going to take care of grandma because she needs it. It could be, and that's important to you. And like,
an encouraging word sometimes can totally change someone's trajectory of the day. So we may or might want to keep this. I'll just share a personal one real quick. So it's up to you. So Hayden, who passed away, so he had talking about living your Dash. He was 17, almost 18 years old. Over 750 people at his funeral.
wow.
17 years old. Wow. So overpacked the church. We had to utilize the local church because our regular church wasn't big enough for that. But anyway, so awesome. But one young lady, so he played water polo, and so one young lady messaged me, Facebook messaged me after he passed away, and he said, just so you know, Hayden literally saved my life, and he didn't even know it. She went on to tell me that, Hayden one day, because when there was boys and girls, they would do scrimmages and stuff, and they do drills and things, it was combined. So one day she was sitting on the side of the pool, and he was coming out, and he's like, hey, what's going on? You look a little down. Is everything okay? She's like, oh, I'm just having a bad day. A lot of things going on, his family and life and stuff like that. And she said, instead of just going on by and saying, wish you well, he sat down. He's like, hey, I just want to let you know. He's like, you're important. He's like, God loves you. I care about you. You're an awesome person. And I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but that's basically what she said. She said, he didn't know that I had already planned to commit suicide that night. Oh. She goes, my parents were out of town. My siblings weren't going to be home. She said, I already planned to commit suicide. He literally saved my life because he gave me hope. So and I have chills right now. So sometimes just a kind word can be a life-saving event. Yeah. So
I think, I can't follow up that story because it's just so.
Sorry, you got me on that thought process.
It's just so epic and important and truthful and matters. And so,
But just being present, I think a lot of it. We're all busy. We all, have things to do. It doesn't minimize any of our responsibilities and things like that, right? But just being able to listen to somebody sometimes, truly listen, can make all the difference in the world. So even that homeless person you're walking by, look at them in the eye. Hey, I'm not giving you any money because I think you should be working, but I see you as a person. I care about you. I hope you have a good day.
Right.
So.
Yeah. So true. It's so true. These little things add up, and I think that they matter of who we are. So thanks for sharing that story. That's a great story. I'm going to tell a lot of people that one, actually. Cool. Thanks, man.
Sorry, I mean, a downer note.
There's some good stuff in there. That's why I'm like, when we do these, we always like start, finish, like even like the Redefine Real Estate, I used to do like a moving Motown podcast. And it's like a lot of the best conversations when you just like start talking.
Yeah.
Like that's what
real talk.
Like that's what a lot of the podcasts, like if you look at Rogan, like Rogan doesn't have a start. Like welcome to episode 9 million. They just start talking and then like he films it for 3 hours. Yeah. And
good stuff.
Again, whether you like Rogan or not, it's the biggest podcast that ever existed, right? And it's just like interesting because the format's interesting because it's just like you get someone on for 3 hours. Yeah. Anyone can interview you for a half hour, right? But you get someone on for 3 hours, like eventually their true color is going to come out a little bit. Yep. And I think that's like one of the reasons why the influence of election so much is like, people are like, well, like, you're going to get the truth. And like people know that these days, So anyway, cool. Thanks, man. I'm excited.